We already watched it live, sir.
Welcome to the British Roadways Centre for Driving Theory 2014. This voice-automated driving theory exam will take you through a number of driving proficiency tests. Your test will now begin. Good luck. What does this sign mean?
No stopping.
This sign means no stopping. What does this sign mean?
No stopping except special vehicles.
This sign means no stopping.
That's
Or stop.
Oh my.
that's not a real sign.
So stupid.
What is the average car? 106, 32.4, 44, 0.2.
0.2.
You have turned left, right at the end of
What?
the lane from where you left, right before reversing into a space left to the left hand of the right-hand lane. It is right to turn left, but you also have the right to reserve judgment. Which is the right option you were left with? Turn left. Turn right. Do not turn left. Do not turn right. When coming off an A road onto a B road, you should be A, beyond the national speed limit. B A road speed, but decrease your speed. C, be aware of your road speed. Decrease before a change of road.
B.
It do be like that sometimes.
Throughout human history, Jews have been subject to religious discrimination, genocide, and pogroms. Ranging from the ancient world to 2022, anti-Semitism has been prevalent, and it begs the question why it has happened constantly throughout human history. The purpose of this video is to investigate the history of anti-Semitism, its causes, and why it's still happening today in 2022. To answer this, we're going to analyze the most significant moments of Jewish persecution in history and to see exactly why Jewish people have been targeted. You're watching All Things Humanities.
All things humanity. I have to rinse my plate.
Before analysing why anti-Semitism has existed, we need to understand what anti-Semitism is. In short, it is the hostility or prejudice against Jewish people or a Jew. The most important factor of anti-Semitism is to mistreat a Jewish person for the fact that they are Jewish. This is important to note because it's what makes anti-Semitism notable. This is because discrimination exists on the grounds of culture and ethnic identity. While there are many moments throughout human history that show the persecution of Jews, the purpose of this video is to determine if Jews were persecuted for their Jewish identity and ethnicity. This is worth noting because many groups have been persecuted throughout human history, for example, Africans and even Christians, and the point here is to find why specifically Jewish ethnicity has been targeted. This makes the claim of anti-Semitism worthwhile and significant. Otherwise, claims of discrimination can be applied to all cultures. One of the earliest and most significant persecution against Jews was the Babylonian captivity, where a large number of Jews were held captive in Babylon following the destruction of Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. Interestingly enough, this moment spurred the creation story in Genesis 1, as it acted as a sign of hope for the Jews following their persecution. If you look at why this happened, it was because the Jews refused to pay taxes to Babylonia following their occupation. However, this theme is very common throughout human history, so it's hard to claim that the Babylonians were intentionally out to persecute the Jews for their Jewish identity. After all, the Americans, leading up to the War of Independence, revolted over their tax obligations to the British, so you can see the point here. This is the same with the Seleucid persecution against the Jews. When Judea fell under the Seleucid Empire, Hellenization and Greek cultural dominance was enforced by law. This meant that Jewish religious practices were prohibited, including Sabbaths, feasts, and circumcision. Once again, great powers will do this to smaller competitors to demoralize and eradicate their culture. It's much easier for a great power to exist and function if everyone is of the same beliefs and culture. The Romans also did this to the religious leaders of the Celts, who were the Druids, killing them to decimate Celtic culture. Nevertheless, while Jews were persecuted by the Seleucids, it was not because they were Jews. Rather, it was because they were a competitor to the Greeks, and the Greeks sought to dominate them. In other words, the Seleucids did not treat the Jews for the fact that they were Jewish. Yes, the Greeks did believe that their religion and way of life was superior, but they were not intentionally conquering the Jews on the grounds of their culture or for a hatred.
That's